To get this clarity on my own too, which is a story about Western medicine for a different day, has been life-changing to say the least. Hello, love. Welcome to my channel. I'm Melanie Santos, mind, body, spirit wellness educator and creator, energy practitioner, spiritual medium and guide, and Kundalini Yoga priestess. I am super passionate about creating space for discovery, healing, learning how to live intentionally, embracing our nuances as energy beings in human bodies, and talking about all the things that we can do to align with our divine truth and our best possible experience in this life. In my community, we're basically all about real self-care for collective liberation. Now, I have another video and a detailed blog post on what I do to cope with my depression symptoms. But in this video, I'm going to break down the essential things that I've learned to do to keep my depression and my anxiety completely away. Now, this is not clickbait. There are no wellness fads, tips, or tricks in here. I'm just sharing what I've learned over the last 11 years of intently learning about myself and how to treat my mental health disorders without medication. Disclaimer, this is not mental health advice. I am not a medical or mental health professional. These recommendations come from my journey and again, what continues to work for me as someone who made the very personal decision not to take medication very early on in my wellness journey. Now, here's a little bit of background. I was diagnosed with clinical depression and generalized anxiety disorder in my early 20s. Oh, but only after decades of suppressing conversations about how we really felt, stigmatizing mental health care like therapy and medication, taking me to church and spiritual guides who read my cards and my seashells instead to tell me if I was okay or not. And don't forget denying me the right to express myself freely because hello, I am the first generation American kid from a Caribbean household. How else does it go? After coming to the conclusion that I'm not well, and that my anxious outbursts and depressive episodes weren't just a phase. And so began my mental health journey as a 20-something Caribbean American girl, the first in her Latina family to ever seek therapy. More than a decade later, I have tried it all. Different types of therapy, read different books and clinical research, tried different ways of eating, taken different supplements, different forms of movement and exercise, different spiritual beliefs and practices. And although at times it was really hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel, I am so grateful to be here, to be able to share with you what has worked and what continues to help me forge this path back to myself without having depression and anxiety looming over my entire existence. With that, let's jump right in. I'm going to break things up into mind, body, and spirit. Starting with the mind, I now have a deeper awareness of my brain. Without awareness of something, you can't truly begin to deal with it, let alone heal it. It can be, yes, painful, but learning how to be aware of what's really happening within you and what's bringing your symptoms on is the first step in full recovery. And in this case, identifying the origins so that you can deal with it from the root. In my How I Deal with My Depression Symptoms video, I talk about using a mental health pain scale and how much it has helped me identify the severity of my mental health symptoms. But another tool that I've used, this is not sponsored, but it's called Dailyo. And what makes it special is that you can use it to track not only your symptoms, but what activities you do each day to get a better idea of what you're doing on your good days, on your bad days, and then analyze the patterns in your mental health. Now, while I was using Dailyo to track, I started to realize that when I was around a lot of people or had a really busy couple of weeks of work, or when I didn't get much time to decompress or be by myself, I would basically become manic and go even harder and then completely crash. At my worst, I couldn't get out of bed, I couldn't care for myself, I couldn't shower or eat, and I was experiencing suicidal ideations. Now, this absolutely made me take a deeper look at the patterns in my life and wonder about the roots of my disease, like what they actually were. So this led me to do a lot of research on the mind-body-spirit connection. Besides listening intently to other healers like Paula Herlock and Mariam Hasna, who I love, two of the books that really broke ground for me were Eastern Body, Western Mind, Psychology and the Chakra System as a Path to the Self by Anazea Judith, and The Highly Sensitive Person by Dr. Elaine Aron. In preparation to film this video, I looked back at old journal entries and notes and totally relived exactly what it felt like to be seen by these books. Now, after that, I went on to clinical journals just to get the scientific evidence down and prove to my ego that I wasn't bugging and that getting this information actually felt like a major puzzle piece that I've been missing. So in short, what I learned was this. Yes, depression and anxiety are a neurological chemical imbalance, but they do not just manifest on their own for me. Depression and anxiety result from over or under stimulation because I am a highly sensitive person. I'm gonna film a separate video about this, and when I do, I'll link it everywhere. But high sensitivity is not a disorder. It's a trait said to be found in over 15 to 20% of the population. The highly sensitive brain has significant biological differences that affect how someone takes in everyday stimuli, how they engage with the world around them, and how their brain processes literally everything. From having more active mirror neurons that help us pick up on what others are feeling more easily, hello, empathy, to more activity in the prefrontal cortex, which affects processing sensory information. We can process things on a deeper level than others and express feelings in a more cognitive way, to having a special variation of the serotonin transporter gene and having 10 more genes associated with dopamine than a neurotypical person. To get this clarity, on my own too, which is a story about Western medicine for a different day, has been life-changing to say the least. Now, I've been in therapy on and off for the last 11 years, and I'm so grateful to have an amazing therapist that I've been seeing regularly for 2 years now. So I took this to her immediately. I had a brand new understanding not only of my mental health, but of myself. So with this new perspective, together with her, I reformatted the ways that I cared for myself. With that, let's move on to the body. Caring for all of my parts from the inside out. I've been talking about mental health and general wellness on the internet since 2013. So if you've been following me for that long, you've definitely seen my trajectory. When it comes to caring for my mental health in regards to my body, the world has seen me eat in different ways, from eliminating dairy to all animal products, to eating plant-based, to changing up my supplement regimen a million times, to moving my body in so many different ways. And I still eat mindfully, drink sufficient water, and take supplements every day. But in the last couple of years, I've introduced my community to a new perspective on the mind and body and how to care for ourselves, especially if we experience mental health disorders. And that is the fact that we are energy beings. Now, for a while, I only spoke about this in regards to manifestation and relationships and aligning with our soul's purpose. But after coming to the realization that I was not just a chronically depressed and anxious person, that I am actually a highly sensitive neurodivergent person, I'm almost proud to say it like that. I dove deep into what that means for me and for everybody as an energy being. I wanted to know, if I am biologically different, am I energetically different too? And if so, how do I need to care for myself? What changed my life was this, and this goes for every one of us, not just the people who resonate with being highly sensitive or neurodivergent. Realizing that all of us as energy beings have energy bodies and electromagnetic auric fields, which is a field of energy that surrounds and extends beyond our physical body, that's influenced by the state of our energy centers or our chakras, that if we don't care for our energetic field appropriately through regular cleansing and protection, our aura is going to become super weak, making us susceptible to mental, emotional, and physical imbalances among many other disconnections. This made my already established energetic hygiene routine that much more important. And not only that, but it made me even more intentional about how I was spending time in my body and what energy I was engaging with. From what I was listening to, who I was spending time with, not only what I was eating, but how I was eating it. So many things that I could break into different videos, so let me know if you want to see those. While I'm on the topic, I do want to say this. This is ancient knowledge. This is ancient wisdom. I didn't invent this. I didn't discover this. I just unlocked it within myself and in my life. And it feels incredible to have realigned with this information and realigned with this wisdom and to be able to talk about it from my perspective, because my community, my culture, we're not really having these conversations at all. Again, I just feel super honored to be able to carry these sacred teachings, the sacred wisdom through my perspective to the world. I think it's beautiful. So because of this deeper wisdom unlocked, I taught a 95-minute class on energy management, cleansing, and protection. It's a comprehensive class that dives into everything from what it means to be an energy being in a human body, to how energy affects our entire human experience, to practical ways that we can cleanse and protect our energetic fields on every budget and anywhere that we are. I'm super grateful that it's helped so many people already. The recording of the class is available in the classes section of my website, and it's linked in the description box for you. So having this fresh perspective on my being meant diving deep on my spiritual self-care too. And when I was at my lowest point, the universe sent me something that felt like truly this was the final piece of my puzzle that I was missing. Let's end with the spirit, building spiritual and energetic muscle. So that's something, that puzzle piece that I was talking about was Kundalini Yoga. I filmed a whole video on what Kundalini Yoga is, how I aligned with it, and just 4 of the many ways that it's changed my life so far. But in short, I keep saying in short, and I hope I'm actually keeping it short. My mental health and overall wellness journey has taught me so much more than just what to eat or what vitamins to take or how to move or how to navigate relationships. It's taught me more than how to live an outwardly well life. It's instilled in me that our human experience is truly a projection of what's going on within, and that to be ultimately healthy, you have to care for and sustain your connection to your spirit. I sustain my connection to my spirit in many ways, but Kundalini Yoga has become sort of like a divine umbrella of sorts, because it houses so many of the practices and rituals that I've been doing on my own for years into one powerful modality, an avenue for mental, physical, spiritual healing and connection, a way for me to release what no longer serves me, forge a stronger connection with my highest self, and most importantly to my mental health, cleanse and strengthen my auric field so that my depression and anxiety don't stand a chance. They don't have the sustainable environment to exist within. Now, if spirituality and well-being are muscles, which I believe they are, Kundalini Yoga is one of the ways that I stay strong. Now, let me give you the spark notes about what it is. Kundalini Yoga is the fastest way to create transformation and align your mind, body, and spirit. It weaves together pranayama, breathwork, kriyas and asanas, strategic postures, meditation, and mantra to shift your glandular, electromagnetic, circulatory, and nervous systems and raise your Kundalini energy, the atomic energy of creative consciousness, and unlock the God and the universe within and beyond ourselves. I definitely recommend that you check out my Budding Kundalini Yoga playlist of videos. Maybe take a class with me if you're interested. I teach virtually and in person in New York City.
So you never experienced depression and anxiety anymore?
Listen, I would be lying if I said that I never get visited by these old foes. I am not perfect. Sometimes I overschedule myself, or I get excited about serving and end up pouring from a cup that's really running low. Sometimes I get overstimulated and I eat poorly and I forget to prioritize moving my body. It happens. But I understand myself and the foundations of my disconnections and the fact that I'm at the root of all of my disconnections. So I can have an honest conversation with myself and even with anxiety and depression when they come to visit, and then escort them out with these practices, rituals, and routines that continue to feed me and starve them. Will I ever get to see a day where I never experience mental health disorders ever again? I don't know. The realist in me thinks probably not. But I'm really proud of how far I've come, how much I've learned, how much I've healed, and how much I'm able to teach because of it. I really hope that this quick video has offered you something that you needed, or maybe something that you didn't know that you needed. It's my honor and pleasure to share my journey with the world as a way to educate and serve. If you appreciate this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more holistic wellness, healing, identity, wellness, all the good things. And please share the love. Send this to somebody who you think is going to benefit from it. Stay safe, stay intentional, sending you mad love from NYC. Peace.